Previously on the challenge, Rivals 3.
Amanda's really getting underneath Tony's skin, but he's getting way too pissed off.
Shut the
Are you mad about that though?
Amber.
Like, that's stupid. I didn't ask
You're
for
asking
that.
me a question.
I didn't ask
You're
for that.
asking me a question about the difference.
Tony thinks that everyone should feel sorry for him. You're stupid because as soon as you air out your dirty laundry, every single person in this house is gonna piss all over it.
You're on a bull-ass dating show.
I'm gonna back down. I'm gonna show them why we're the new generation of the challenge.
Y'all take care. Hope to see you never.
I'm a baker, not a robber, babe. And I'm I don't give a fuck. I'm on the world order, babe. I know this with my unborn daughter, babe.
Now this is the challenge that I have grown to love. This is the challenge that balances in-house drama alongside a heavy dose of deliberation, challenge, and eliminations. This is the challenge that grabs your attention and doesn't let go for an hour straight. After two absolutely subpar at best episodes, this is the type of challenge episode I want to review. And with that, welcome to this week's installment in our newest series, Rise to the Challenge, here at the Baker's Dozen Podcast. I'm your host, RiverCity Clement, and I'm here ready to review episode 5 of the latest installment of Rivals 3, which aired this past Wednesday night, June 1st at 10 p.m. Side note, how on earth is it June already? Despite an awful title for this episode, Where the Ratchet Things Are, this is the strongest episode of the season since the premiere, and it's time to dive straight in and begin this week's review of episode 5 of the challenge, Rivals 3, on our new series, Rise to the Challenge, here at the Baker's Dozen Podcast. If you've been listening to this series, you know our quick hit style for these episodes. And if you're new, well, it's pretty damn simple. Whenever you hear this sound, it means we finished that thought and we're already on to the next one. On to the next one. Definitely sounds like a good theme to be used on this podcast, right? Enough of that though. Hey, let's do this thing. Previously on the challenge, well, we're quickly reminded of Ashley and Simone drama, which honestly is never far away in that house. I suppose that's going to be the epicenter of this week's drama. Oh goody. Meanwhile, we're reminded that Brandon quit like a punk, taking down teammate Brianna with him because of the important things, yeah, huge air quotes there, that he had going on home, which likely consisted solely of his weepy girlfriend. And finally, Camilla was hurt at the end of last week's challenge event, and by hurt, she was stunned and seemingly embarrassed after a fall, in what was a noticeably weak ending for a weak fourth episode of this season of the challenge. As everyone expected, Camilla is perfectly fine and mainly just embarrassed, whether she'll admit it or not, after a poor performance. Frankly, Camilla just ends up using the moment post-injury, or whatever that was, to make excuses, largely blaming Tony for his wingspan and her height disadvantage. Camilla's a strong physical competitor and a former Deserve-It champion, so all of this comes off really petty, and just another excuse for Camilla to blame someone else, other than herself, for her lacking performance in this challenge overall. Tony weathers the storm pretty well, to his credit. Look, Camilla at her pettiest is actually quiet for most of this episode, which is a good thing because there was too much drama with her last week. Look, Camilla's great TV, but there's got to be a finite amount of it, especially when she's completely in the wrong. As much as I typically enjoy her, we've gone 2 weeks without anything from Jenna. Look, let's fix that. We need more chances for memorable quotes from her MTV, so fix that, please. Meanwhile, I'm starting to think that Nelson and Amanda from Are You the One, sort of the first replacements 1.0, they might be a team to look out for in challenges and eliminations. That is until they fall after the first obstacle checkpoint and pretty much put themselves in deep contention to go to the elimination jungle. Whoops. Bananas and Sarah nearly complete all 4 obstacles until Sarah takes a pretty nasty fall on the 3rd platform, also she doesn't sell it like she's dying. Many have speculated if their drama between Sarah and Bananas is truly a farce in order to grab screen time, but I'm not buying that. What I do know is that Bananas, even if it's less and less each episode, he's still playing the same broken record at least once an episode. Somebody cue up the Wambulance music once a week when he goes on his weekly rant about trust and how it can't be brought back and how this challenge depends on it, but how could he have it for Sarah after she screwed him over, and on and on and on and on and on. Look, if you missed it this week, here's what Banana sounds like. Pretty much sums it up. Look, I know I'm a little tough on Bananas, but I will say, this is still the team that I'm picking to win it all, and pretty easily in the end. On the opposite end of the spectrum, the team nobody is picking to win it all, Johnny Reilly and Jessica, well, they do what they do best. They lose. 3 for 3 at the bottom in 3 challenges. Johnny Reilly knows it. All that saved them after last week's soap challenge was the baffling decision to cancel the elimination overall. Surprisingly, Dario and Nicole just might survive a terrible showing last week and avoid a trip to the jungle. And randomly, Nany doesn't jump with Wes when she's counting to 3, literally leaving Wes hung out to plunge into the water. Wow, Nany, that's your one showing for the week? Wow. And the last team of note to go, Kellyanne and Jamie, a team that I might have slightly overrated in this whole competition. They fall early. Real early. Frankly, it's a bit of a stunner. And we have some legit drama, unlike last week, as 3 teams are potentially in last place, and therefore headed to the elimination jungle automatically. Corey and Ashley end up edging out Bananas and Sarah for the win and power couple status, as they did nearly complete all 4 stages of the challenge. Of course, Ashley was almost decapitated by a barrel floating in the water, so they earned it. Look, heights are clearly a big part of this season of the challenge, but let's make sure we keep things extra safe in the water, MTV. So that leaves 3 teams at the bottom facing the jungle. And that's Dario and Nicole, Johnny Reilly and Jessica, and Kellyanne and Jamie. Now, Dario did hang on for a little bit longer before falling, even if he didn't reach the first platform, so that team seems safe to me. Which means it's the latter 2 that are in contention. And to nobody's surprise, especially poor Johnny Reilly, he and Jessica are elimination bound automatically for the second time in 3 challenges. Well, the second time in 2 possible goes. Johnny reached the finals in his first challenge during Free Agents without having to see an elimination. Maybe this is challenge karma still. Either way, Johnny knows his partner's extreme limitations, and he's made peace with it. I mean, he's at least accepted the fact that he's going in, and likely he's going home. Jessica's naive as ever, thinking that her partner believes in her. I mean, she's a sweet girl, I guess, but she's a mess. Johnny is 3-1 in eliminations, but 3-2, it's gotta be coming. So Corey and Ashley, the power couple, have a tough decision to make. Well, half of a tough decision, because we know that Nelson and Amanda are going in. It's challenge law. Want me to explain to you challenge law? Pay attention. First, they're newbies. Second, they're replacements. Third, they're from Are You the One? And finally, Freckles, aka Amanda, well, she's ticked off half the people in the house already, starting more drama than you could imagine in such a short period of time. So now that that's settled and you understand challenge law, look, this isn't a weak team. Despite some slippage earlier, Nelson and Amanda are not a layup. You're putting in a very competitive team, especially when the field has so many weak teams who could go in. It seems the real issue for the power couple, Corey and Ashley, is who is going in alongside Nelson and Amanda for the Skull Challenge and the direct possibility of facing Johnny Reilly and Jessica in the jungle. Here's some more legit drama for the show. Fantastic, MTV. Seriously, this is fantastic. Now, on one side of the coin, you know who Ashley wants to go in. Simone, and I second that. But Corey, he's boys with her partner, Tom, and they were castmates on Real World Explosion. So there's 2 ways to look at this. Corey and Ashley, they can use the power position wisely and secure alliances. And they do that with Wes and Nany. This is a smart move. Look, Corey, he's won me over more and more. He's maturing wisely in this game. And he's going to be a major player for seasons to come. He's made for this show. Meanwhile, they just decide to tell Christina and Nate, you're going in. It makes sense, and they're not thrilled about it, but it seems like Ashley's not going to get her way, and Corey's going to make a strong political move. And on cue, we have our first true drama alert of this episode. And wake me up when it's over, please. Look, I always enjoy a crush alert or a hookup alert, or maybe even I'm quitting alert. A lot more than your standard drama alert, especially when it's Simone involved again. Ashley and Jamie's relationship, a focus for the after show, which we won't break down on this episode, is now transitioning into more hate between Ashley and Simone. Oh, goody.
Her game is to make everyone look bad, split up teams, split up friendships. That's her game.
Yeah.
Simone is like this little devil that's just compacted all the evil into one little human being. I'm gonna say something.
And while I'm clearly Team Ashley in this one, look, Ashley isn't helping herself as she claps during every argument she has. As in, every point she makes, she claps alongside it. It's an annoying habit a lot of girls have taken on. It was on full display this season of The Real World, Go Big or Go Home with Kayla, which, by the way, that show, which was it was not a good season. It just concluded with a finale last week in which 2 cast members went home, like in the last week of the show, for 2 separate physical altercations, including a beatdown in which CJ just pummeled the ever-annoying and, frankly, racist Jenna. But I digress. Back to the challenge. Look, Simone, be careful what you wish for, as you might be sent to the jungle this week, instead of Nate and Christina, by the power couple, which Ashley's half of, alongside Corey. No matter how tight Corey is with Tom, you know that Ashley can go smashing mode, but she can go from normal to crazy in less than 5 seconds. And she can make Corey's life a living hell in the process. She's done it before on The Real World. More and more, I'm starting to think that Tom and Simone are actually going in this week alongside Nelson and Amanda. You know, there's more trivial yelling between the two. Ashley storming around in a tank top and a thong. Girl never wears pants. Simone's always in the bottom bunk, just arguing under the covers. Look, Ashley, you're clapping too much, and really, it's enough drama between these two. It's enough camera time for these two for a while, especially Simone, who's just naive to all of this, thinks that she's a little bit smarter than everybody else, and Ashley, she's just a mess. Look, bananas, no more crying faces. He sums up their argument the best.
How are they not embarrassed?
No more deliberations, it's nominations time. And we again have legitimate intrigue and drama in the house, which doesn't involve yelling or screaming or quitting or Simone or Camilla going nuts. This is the challenge I want to see much, much, much more of, MTV. Keep it up. And I start to wonder who's going to join Nelson and Amanda in the Skull Challenge round before potentially facing Johnny Reilly and Jessica in the elimination jungle. And it's clearly down to 2 teams. There's Christina and Nate, who were told they were going in by Corey and Ashley the night before, but for no malicious reasons. Or it's Simone and Tom. And Ashley's face as Corey is speaking says it all. Simone haters rejoice. They're going in. And Tom, he understands. And after some careful reflection, why wouldn't he? Simone is his rival. You know, Tom doesn't like Simone. Most in the house don't. And you know Tom and Simone are who Jessica and Johnny Reilly are rooting for to face in the jungle. It'd be a rare opportunity for Jessica not to be a glaring disadvantage against her female opponent. And just like that, it's jungle. It's elimination time. Man, this is the format I've been begging for. Half a challenge or elimination an episode, mix in some legitimate deliberation, give us some but not too much drama, and even if the hookups are few and far between with this cast, unless Tony just starts spreading his seed left and right, of course, you have a near flawless episode model. But before the Skull Challenge, it's Replacements 2.0 time. Sigh. Ugh. If you listened to last week's review, I predicted it'd be the only team to be eliminated via the elimination jungle, and I was right. Hey, Devin and Cheyenne are back, everyone! Whoop-de-doo! Alright, no surprise. It's more protection for the Are You the One series. They're an easy team to bring in. There's no veteran replacement teams this year, folks. Snore. Look, Devin has the personality of a door frame. And unless Cheyenne messes around with Corey, I don't know what else she's going to bring to this challenge. So Reunion 2.0, it's short-lived, mainly because it's just Devin and Cheyenne, and it's quickly Skull Challenge time, which is going to lose a little luster each time it occurs, but it's still something somewhat entertaining. And it goes down quickly and very similar to last time's drawing. Tom, safe. Nelson, safe. So it's 50-50 for Simone. Look, there's no skill involved here. But the producers couldn't be happier, as Ashley couldn't be worrying more. Simone gets lucky, wins the 50-50, and leaves the black skull for Amanda. Afterwards, you'd think Simone just scored the winning goal in the World Cup with her reaction. I mean, you drew out a skull. There's no skill involved. Congratulations on getting lucky, But look, Simone's going home real soon in elimination. Hopefully next week. I'm sorry, Tom, but because of her, you two gotta go now. The Jungle Challenge itself is actually really smart. It's puzzle-based, although no Cara Maria with a puzzle is almost criminal, though, in the challenge. But the game called Wait For Me, with weight, like your physical weight being a key. You know, the game seems pretty simple, but that's kind of the brilliance of it. So the girls have to memorize a puzzle and reconstruct it. The problem is the puzzle is elevated 20 feet in the air above them that they have to memorize. On the opposite side of a large wall, their male partner has to hoist them up using a rope. So they may see the original puzzle, but then they have to lower themselves back down, or the girls have to tell the guys to do it, and they have to recreate the puzzle. Now, the fewer the trips, it's the less physical strain on the male partners, because holding up the girls in place, especially in this type of a hot climate, it's hard work. And I immediately wonder first if Jessica understands this game, or if she's going to have any sort of strategy whatsoever. I mean, I can't imagine Jessica walking into kickball with a plan, no less an intricate puzzle. And this puzzle looks hard as hell. You know, she thinks Johnny Reilly has faith in her. Think again. So, anyways, Amanda immediately has a strategy. You know, she's going to win this probably just because of that. Amanda's smart. You got to give her that. She also calls herself in the third person the pop-off queen. That's fantastic. I don't even know if I can call her Freckles anymore. She's the pop-off queen. She kind of does it in the third person, which is rock style, which is awesome. Look, even Tony, Jessica's biggest fan, I think he knows almost immediately that this is over before the challenge elimination even starts. And before you know it, it's over. It's a beatdown. I mean, it's a statement victory. Nelson and Amanda cruise. Johnny and Reilly, they're going. And, you know, now they're the only team to be eliminated via the elimination round. Because, of course, Devin and Cheyenne are back. Now, of course, Jessica takes complete blame for the loss, but it's in her typical, like, constantly needy, annoying, whiny way. Johnny Reilly doesn't care, and I, for one, don't blame him. Look, no pity parties are allowed when all you do is lose. Jessica is now 1-4 in elimination challenges. She's going to keep returning to this show, but she has zero chance of ever making anything near a final. There's no Paula-like redemption no matter who her partner is. You know, her only chance is to become rivals with a beast on the show who can play the political game. But unless she gets into bed with Johnny Bananas, she ain't seeing a final anytime soon or probably ever. Sorry, Jess.
Bye, Felicia.
In maybe the best 45-minute mini segment of this show, Tony, as soon as he realizes Jessica is gone, he wonders who's next on his self-titled hit list. And then an amazing graphic pops up, almost looking old school PowerPoint style, with all of the remaining female members. And who's Tony going to pick? You know, who is he going to bring his Tony-like charm in a Tony way? You know, who is his libido going to target next? Like, if I could pick anyone, it'd be Kellyanne or Jenna, just for that next day moment of shame. But it's not going to happen. And frankly, it's not going to happen on this season. Jessica was a good target. That never really happened. Tony already hooked up with Christina the first day last challenge. That's not happening again. I'm sorry, Tony, but for this season at least, your hit list, it's empty. And as the challenge winds down, Simone's back in the house talking trash. Congrats, you picked the right skull. You're not the next Steph Curry. Tequila time makes it official. Look, Nelson's won me over. He's the anti-Simone. He needs to be a challenge vet for years to come. He's confident, but he seems to be really likable in the house, and yet I could see some rivalries forming. Plus, looks a lot like Shawn Wayans, which I'm not sure if that's an asset, but it's kind of funny when you notice it. And as for next week, it's one word, drama, and nobody seems spared from it. There's Tom yelling at Bananas and Vince, Tony yelling at Camilla. Wait, where's Devin and Cheyenne? And there's also some sort of a challenge event in which choices have to be made and some sort of naked power walking is taking place. Okay. Plus there's a final clip of a dramatic chair kicking. Chair kicking! Sign me up!
Colin, the little demon, runs over to the puzzle and starts checking it out and yelling back commands.
Tee up! Tee up top! Tee up top! I got it! T's on top of that, you got it? Lightning, baby! Go!
Do I feel guilty? Copying their block game? No. Strategy.
Nice guys don't always finish last. Same for the geezers. Even on this show, a true veteran with some real age and experience can more than easily rise to the challenge. See what I did there? Mark Long is one of the most well-respected and beloved characters in the history of MTV and its challenge universe. 7 competitions, 4 finals, and 2 wins have helped cement Mark's legacy and his induction in the BDP Challenge Hall of Fame. Mark joins Darrell, Kenny, and CT in what could easily be the male Mount Rushmore of the challenge, if that was a thing, of course. Mark's 2 wins truly stand out as well. He was part of the inaugural Real World Road Rules Challenge, on the winning side, of course, and competed in the best season to date of this show, and I'll debate anybody on this, Battle of the Sexes, in which he and Colin and Jamie ultimately took down Ruthie, Lori, and Ellen for the victory. It's one of the reasons our closing song, Let Go by Midtown, is on this show weekly. It was the theme for that show. And this is the season that really hooked me on the challenge itself. It was only the 6th season of the show, but it really laid the groundwork for the potential this show truly had. It also doesn't hurt that it coincided with a pretty good year, 2003, with Syracuse's national championship run with my boy, Carmelo Anthony.
Anthony, big 3! But Heinrich and Lee are the 2 guys. Heinrich starts inside, goes outside. Heinrich gets it. Heinrich puts up the shot. It's too long, and Syracuse is your national champion.
Ah, what a year. But I digress. Mark also has MTV history behind him as a member of the first season of Road Rules. And he's been the oldest participant at 40 years young to compete in a challenge when he teamed up with his ex, the infamous Robin of Real World San Diego, in Battle of the X's 1. While Mark is 0-1 in eliminations, it also goes to show that the complete unwillingness people have to send him in. His tally only approaches 80,000, but his spot in the Hall of Fame couldn't be questioned by many, if any. Mark is the ultimate cool guy, he's the ultimate good guy, and now he's one of the ultimate guys in challenge history as part of Baker's Dozen Podcast Challenge Hall of Fame. And with our 7th Hall of Fame member inducted, thank you as always for listening to this week's episode of Rise to the Challenge, a mini-series presented to you by the Baker's Dozen Podcast and yours truly, your host, RiverCity Clement. An additional shout out to Nick Lowe for our awesome logo, Backyard Tees, Yeti Research Company, guy can do it all. Check him out. We've gotten several new followers, some retweets from the official MTV The Challenge account, and a few retweets from former cast members, including a certain Hall of Famer, Darrell Taylor. It's pretty awesome. This show, it isn't about ratings or downloads or clicks. It's about talking about a guilty pleasure that we all, that listening right now, enjoy more than we probably should. It's fun to discuss, debate, and guess what's next for this cast, the eliminations, the deliberations, and the challenges themselves. Drama, hookups, potential fights, showdowns, rivalries. It's a lot of drama, and we love it all. And I hope that you continue to keep giving feedback to this show, whether it's on social media or to me directly, whether it's on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Look, you search Rise to the Challenge, or you search Baker's Dozen Podcast, or even just my name, RiverCity, one word, Clement, C-L-E-M-E-N-T, and you're going to find us. It's that simple. We continue to hope that you'll spread the word, and we're going to try our best to bring you weekly reviews of this show that you really enjoy. And at this midway point, you want to binge listen right when you're binge watching? It's pretty simple. These episodes are good for a car ride. They're an easy under 30-minute listen. We'll be back next week with our recap episode for episode 6, which I'm sure is going to have plenty of fireworks if the previews are any indicator. Hopefully another strong episode is on the horizon, especially after this week's stellar showing. And here at the Baker's Dozen Podcast, well, we're going to try to do what we always do. Try our best to rise to the challenge.
If I could choose to start it over, I'd exercise more discretion. The lies are about, so nothing's so dead. Do you have good intentions? Come on, let go of those expectations. You don't fool anyone. Come on, let go if you want it to go. The years will say what happened to you.
Yeah, I think Lee was thinking this girl will not leave my room. I was like attached to his hip.
Anaya probably was thinking, What a stud.